That was Sherry by the guys from the Broadway show, which is Jersey Boys. It's the big show here. Everybody talks about it, and everybody seems to love it. And we've got two of the, well, let's face it, the better-looking half of the foursome. It's the ones that the ladies love. No, don't laugh. We've got Jarrod and Dominic. How are you guys?
Hey, how's it going?
What's it like being you first, Jarrod? Because you've been with this show for such a long time, and there you are. You are Frankie. You're the one that all the ladies fall in love with, but you're the one that gets in all the trouble, aren't you?
Yes, oh, absolutely. I'm the one that always gets into trouble. Absolutely. I'm pretty good. I'm the monk, the resident monk of the group, having to always take care of the voice first. It's been like that's my number one job every day, all day for the last couple of years. So it is wonderful to play Frankie Valli, but it's also a lot of work.
Jarrod, help me with it. How do you do that? Because it's an extraordinary thing that is subhuman. It's so far up in the stratosphere, it's beyond the Bee Gees. Mm-hmm. Where does that come from?
You have to do all these sort of crazy voodoo exercises to your mouth, manipulation of your tongue and your teeth and your throat. And if you do all the exercises just right, you're able to sing the Frankie Valli notes every single day.
And what is it like when he's in the show and there you are doing him?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. The first time he saw me do it, we were in Chicago and we were opening and everyone was like, "Oh, are you nervous? The press is going to be here." I said, "I don't care about the press. I've been doing the show for a year and a half. All I care about is that Frankie's here for the first time." And it was, it's an amazing thing. You always want to make sure. What you want as you're playing a real person is to be able to meet him and respect him and be able to get behind his character every single night, because if you don't, it makes the show a lot less fun. But he has been great to me from the moment I met him, and he was extremely supportive after he saw the show. So I've always been, I'm a bigger fan than I was to begin with.
And Dominic, what got you interested in this? Was it because it was a gig? Did you love the music? Did you like the show? How do you feel about it now, looking back on this huge success? Because you're another one who's been with it right from the beginning.
Well, I love the show, first of all. I think it's really, really well put together. And I'm also a fan of the music as well. I used to listen to these 45 records with my aunt when she was babysitting me, and she taught me how to do the mashed potato and the twist, and so I've been a fan since I was a kid, and when I saw the show in La Jolla, I came into the show as a swing. In the original production down at the La Jolla Playhouse in San Diego, and I thought it was just going to be this kind of jukebox musical crap, and it was just so well put together, and the people that were doing it, the actors that were involved at that time, were so incredible. I was blown away.
What is the moment in the show you look forward to? Because this is a kind of show where there's a lot of moments. It kind of goes from scene to scene and builds and builds and builds. Our expectations are very high, aren't they?
Yeah, they are extremely high. I mean, and there's builds up. The show does an incredible job of building up to each of those moments you're talking about. I mean, it's 40 minutes into the show before Sherry finally comes on, and the crowd is just exhaling with relief that this one of the big songs is up, and they hit him with 3 in a row. Sherry, Big Girls, Walk Like a Man, and then there's more build up, and especially in the second act, I think that one of the climaxes of the show, the climax of the show, is probably the build up to "Can't Take My Eyes Off of You," and Frankie finally gets his horn section and sings his solo. And for me, as an actor, I'm very well aware that that's going to be a unique moment in my life to be able to play that role every night in that moment.
In less than 2 hours, the show will be up and you'll be doing it. And I don't want to put any pressure on you at this point, but how do you deal with you performing as good as you should every night? Because there's a lot of pressure, especially in this show more than others, where you are singing at the top of your game, you're acting and you're performing and you're dancing and you're running. There's so much going on in this. If you're not feeling 100%, how do you make it happen?
I think that's part of, what makes you a professional, that you're able to kind of like carry that off. If you're not feeling 100%, if you're going in and you're like, 90%, you can also use the show as a momentum to kind of help you. Once you dive into it, it's sort of like this roller coaster, and you just kind of have to hold on for the ride and concentrate,
What is the point in the show where you go, "Oh, it's great to be in this business"?
Wow. It has to be early on, right? So I guess by the time we get to, there's a song that's clearly not the most popular song on the show. It's called Moody's Mood. But it's like there's a moment, the show starts off and it really runs quickly, at least for my character. And then there's a moment where I'm standing backstage for about 15 seconds of total silence and stillness, and I'm going to take a nice deep breath and sing this sort of crazy, wicked jazz song, and that is a really fun moment. Even if they don't even clap for it because they don't know it, I still really enjoy that particular time.
And physically, how fit do you have to be to get through it, especially on those 2-show days? There's a lot in this, isn't there?
Yeah, it takes a lot of endurance to do this show. You know, we are working up there. You know, the show moves very fast, and you move from song to speech a lot of the time. So you have to be in really good physical shape. You got to really take care of yourself. And to play Frankie, I mean, you know, one of the questions you asked earlier about, you know, when do you get to relax? Well, I relax when Jarrod starts doing his hardest work, when he starts singing Sherry and Big Girls. For me, that's fun time. I get to sing the backup vocals, which are, of course, like 2 octaves lower, and kind of dance around and have a good time, you know? So for me, that's a wonderful moment to just kind of like relax and ease into it and watch the audience enjoying this guy who's just singing his face off, you know?
What is the feeling like at those moments when it's a song we know and they're standing and applauding for you? And it's one of the few shows where people do seem to feel they can get involved and react as violently as they need to. Is there any way of describing that emotion from your perspective looking out?
It's an incredible thing. I mean, as an actor, it's a dream to play a role in a show where it's, first of all, where it's sold out every night. But not only is it sold out, but it's sold out full of people who cannot wait for the show, who are just thrilled to be there and get up on their feet and clap and scream and dance. And you know, for a moment, you have to pinch yourself and remind yourself you're not actually a rock star. You are an actor playing a rock star. You're not, this isn't real. You know, these people, if it was a different actor, they'd be screaming just as hard as long as they were doing a good job in the role. But it's absolutely surreal to be up there and the show makes the audience and the actors believe that these are the guys, these are the 4 seasons, and you know, we go through a long journey over the course of the show, and you sort of get into that mindset. Especially the longer you do it, the more performances you do, you connect with your characters so deeply. I'm not sure that there's another show quite like this one. The show is pieced together mostly in chronological order with, you know, songs thrown in here and there. I think they actually did sing Ragdoll at the Hall of Fame, even though it had been written years before. It's a real story, and I think that absolutely is what separates this show from every other jukebox musical, and what surprises people who come for the music but leave saying, oh my God, I grew up in that time and I had no idea that they went through such turmoil. They were connected to the mob. They had all of this drama, this backstage drama.
It's like a double whammy factor. It's like people come in and you get the great music, and then you get this the book is like our secret weapon, you know? The book draws everybody into the story, but then also it takes you on your own specific nostalgic journey. You know, you go back, these baby boomers come in and they go back to their freshman, you know, soft hop dance where, you know, Sherry was played for the first time. There was a woman who was an immigrant from the Philippines who remembers hearing Sherry on the boat ride over, and she talked about that experience with me at the stage door. So everybody has their own individual experience, and then they also get, you know, the true story of the 4 seasons.
And very finally, about that stage door, I'm a deeply unattractive man, and I know this about myself, but what is life like for you two, being sex symbols and being in the big show and being attractive, and they all love you, and of course they want to sleep with you?
You know, people ask this quite a bit, and the honest answer is that most of the women who want to sleep with us are either 15 or like 65. So we don't really get, you know, as, you know, 20 or 30-year-old men, we don't exactly get, you know, the prime age that we might be looking for. I mean, some of us are looking for older women, but it doesn't work exactly as you think, which is another reason then when you pinch yourself and you remind yourself, all right, you're not actually a rock star, you are an actor on Broadway. It's not exactly the same thing. And believe me, if I could figure out a way to use it properly, I would, but I'm not sure that I've figured it out quite yet.
So what are you saying then? That you'd actually rather be me, talentless and deeply unattractive, or you in the #1 show and gorgeous?
I mean, if you put it exactly like that,
Don't answer. Forget it. No. Dominic and Jarrod, the 2 big stars of Jersey Boys, thank you so much for sparing your time. You've got to go because you've got to go and do the show. Thank you very much for your time. It's been lovely talking to you.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you so much for having us. It was great to meet you.